Hey everyone, and welcome to Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I am a certified professional coach. I will be here every Saturday talking about transformation. How to transform those difficulties you encounter throughout your life into lessons. How can you transform that victim mindset into one of opportunity and growth? If you want to transform your life, the key is to learn and realize that you have everything you need within yourself. If you are looking for a safe place to find inspiration, motivation, and the tools to become empowered, then this is the podcast to listen to. This podcast is brought to you by my website, Empowered-SelfLove.com. Thank you for joining me every Saturday. And I want to thank you all for listening every week. Thank you for your support and for making Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast, part of your Saturday routine. I am extremely thankful and grateful for your warm welcome. My hope is to bring you the tools that enriches your life and that helps you become more empowered. So thank you for sharing with your friends and family, and let's continue to spread the knowledge and the inspiration. In this episode, I will be talking about the voice that tells you you are not good enough. Hi there, happy Saturday! Wishing for all of you to feel well, full of energy, and ready for today's episode. Welcome again to another episode of Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. I am your host, Jessica Fuentes, and today we'll be diving into an inner struggle that many of us face, and that is that persistent voice that whispers, "You are not good enough." This voice can turn into a belief that can in turn be incredibly limiting. And it's something most of us have encountered. We get to believe what that voice says, and we accept it as our truth and make it part of our lives and our reality. But what if I told you that that voice is largely an illusion? Well, today we are here to explore how to confront that voice and silence it once and for all. The idea that we're not good enough is more common than you might think. According to IPEX Insights, this voice often emerges from a protective mechanism within ourselves, aiming to shield us from failure or from disappointment. So it's a natural response, but this response is one that can keep us from reaching our full potential. So before I get to dive into analyzing this voice, I like to invite you to listen to the 3 previous episodes because those 3 episodes are the root cause for that voice to jump into our minds and make us question our worth, our capacity, our potential, and overall our value. If you go with the flow and you make your limiting beliefs become your reality, then you are not living your life at your fullest potential. If you make your interpretations your ultimate truth, then again, you're limiting your capacity to explore other possible outcomes. And if you make all of your assumptions your reality, then it will be very difficult to explore new opportunities or make the best out of the challenges that you face. All of those 3 topics are covered in those 3 previous episodes, and I highly recommend you to go back and listen to them. Learning to challenge and question your limiting beliefs, your interpretations, and your assumptions will actually give you a greater leverage when that voice that makes you question your worth and your capacity comes in and sneak into your thoughts. Because you would have learned to question every belief
every interpretation, and every assumption, and will have come to realize that they are not the ultimate truth. And the same concept applies to that little evil voice of yours that tells you you're not good enough. You know those thoughts. We all encounter them at some point in our lives. I'm not good enough for the job. I'm not good enough as a parent. I'm not good enough to lose the weight. I'm not good enough to get a degree. I'm not good enough to become an entrepreneur. And the list of destructive thoughts goes on and on and on. So let's pause and consider, how true is it that you aren't good enough? When you break it down, these doubts are typically based on fears more than facts. Perhaps you didn't succeed in a particular task or occasion, and then you made the assumption that it was always going to be like that. Do you know how many failed attempts did Thomas Edison had? Well, I'm going to share a little history here. Thomas Edison is considered the greatest inventor of all times. And you can Google it. And before he got to invent the light bulb, he failed over 1,000 times. Before he got to invent the storage battery, he tried over 9,000 experiments. If he were to believe and assumed that because he had failed, it was not possible, maybe we will still live with candles here. So the same applies to you. Like he said, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. I've said this before. I love that quote because that quote invites us all to keep on trying, to not give up, and definitely to not believe that we are not good enough. So let me share some situations that might make you question your worth, and that as a result, that evil voice gets an opportunity to sneak in your thoughts. Imagine you have spent weeks preparing a presentation for a major project at work. When the day comes, your nervousness gets the best of you, and you stumble through your delivery and you miss key points, and you receive critical feedback from your colleagues and supervisor, which leads to thoughts of inadequacy about your professional abilities. But is it true? Is it really true that you're not capable? It is completely understandable that you might question yourself. It is completely normal to feel mad or frustrated, but it doesn't make you a failure or an incompetent professional. Another example. In a romantic relationship, effective communication is key. If there's a misunderstanding or a conflict, and you feel that you failed to express your feelings or resolved the issue amicably, you might start to believe you're not good enough at maintaining a loving relationship or being a supportive partner. Then again, is that assumption true? It is normal to feel sad, frustrated, stuck, and all of the emotions that align with that particular situation. But that does not make it true. Remember that everything is an opportunity to grow and explore new alternatives and new approaches. The more you try and fail, the more you will learn. Now, as a parent, handling a child's challenging behavior can be very overwhelming. Suppose you attempt a new strategy to address your child's tantrums, but it doesn't work and the behavior continues to worsen. This might cause you to doubt your parenting skills, leading to thoughts that you're not competent as a parent. Then again, how true is that? How many times have you resolved the tantrum of your child before? In how many other occasions were you able to connect with your child and get the best from them? Every child is different, even between siblings. And when they are born, they don't come with an instruction manual. So give yourself some credit. That voice in your thoughts does not define your entire capacity or worth. You need to challenge the accuracy of this voice. So how can you challenge and change this narrative? Well, first, recognize that everyone deals with self-doubt. You're not alone. This realization can relieve yourself and give you some power that these thoughts are holding over you. Once you have acknowledged that voice, you need to name it. Give that voice a name and separate it from yourself. See it as a separate entity. I named mine Evil Eddie. And I got to associate my voice with the Mucinex green little guy that was there in the commercial bugging with the cold. Well, my evil Eddie is also green. And I get to question my evil Eddie all of the time. So be creative and create your own little guy and separate it from yourself. Maybe you want to call it the doubtful inner voice guy. I don't know. Be creative, make it your own, whatever works for you. Now, after you have separated that voice from yourself, you can now work in transforming that self-doubt. One effective approach is to consciously reframe your thoughts. Start by questioning your inner assumptions. Ask yourself, what if the opposite is true? Instead of accepting the I'm not good enough thought, test with thoughts like, I have a unique strength to share, or I just found a way that won't work, just like Thomas Edison. And then again, use the power of curiosity. I have shared this one before. Curiosity can be a powerful tool against self-doubt. Instead of saying, I can't do this, reframe it. What can I try right now that will help me grow? This mindset shift opens up possibilities rather than shutting them down. So, what are the 4 practical steps to move yourself forward and away from believing in that evil little voice? Let's keep it simple. 4 steps. Number 1, awareness. Begin by noticing when you hear that voice saying, I'm not good enough. Number 2, challenge the voice. Actively refute the statement by listing your past successes and strengths. Number 3, reframe it. Change, I can't do this, to I will find a way to do this. You don't need to know how. You just need to know that there is another way. And number 4, take action. Take one small action towards your goal because that will help you build momentum and self-confidence. As I conclude today and wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember the self-doubt voice is an illusion. It is not real. It is not the truth. It is not factual. So by separating it from yourself, by questioning it, by challenging it, and then by focusing on your growth, on new opportunities, on new possibilities, you get to dismantle its power and you will get to move forward and bring out your higher self, the one that is more capable and more resilient than you might even realize. If you feel that this is a message you connected with, I am very glad and happy that this will be the beginning of an extraordinary journey of transformation and empowerment for you. So remember that we have a date every Saturday. You can't miss the next episode in which I will be talking about how to create new habits that will help you achieve your goals. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought some perspective as well as hope. If there is any particular topic you would like me to discuss, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email at jessica.fuentes@empowered-selflove.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me there as Empowered-selflove. I also encourage you to visit my webpage, Empowered-selflove.com, and explore more about what coaching is all about. In the Services tab, you can sign in for the free discovery session. During the discovery session, I will explain everything you need to know about coaching, the type of coaching I specialize in, and the packages I have available for you.
You can find all the links on the episode's notes. Remember, if you like this content or thought of somebody that could benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Remember that we have a date every Saturday, and I can't wait for us to meet again. See you next week!